Hi again. In this tutorial I will show you how to make a gun shoot. Use Raycast and instantiate bullet holes. So here we go. So in the description I'll post a link where you can download this complete project file. In this file you will find the customizable gun pack. It's from the Unity Asset Store, and there are a few models you can use, gun models. The bullet hole texture, the already made prefabs, and the scripts, and the gun sound. So you will be fine, and you can download it and start immediately. First, let's make a new scene, and I'll delete some things from here. Actually, okay, now that I cleaned up my project files, we'll start with a more empty scene. Everything I have now is just the character controller and a model. So if you take a look at the model, you can see that it's all made of loose parts. And if this isn't in your case, you can make a new game object, an empty one, make it parent of the gun, and then place it where the bullet should spawn, so at the front of the gun. Make sure it's in the right position, and I think it will be fine. Okay, and name this bullet spawn or something like that. Let's get started with the script and call this one shoot to be simple. Open it up, and first we want to make a new variable, a public one, a type of game object, and call it bullet. Then in the update function, we want to check if the mouse button is clicked, the left mouse button. So you can write if input dot get key down. Actually, let's just do get key. Get key is whenever you hold a mouse button or in this case a button, and define it as keycode dot mouse 0. Mouse 0 is the left mouse button, so you can call it everything you want, but in my case I will be fine with mouse 0, the left mouse button. So if we click on the left mouse button, we want to instantiate the bullet. So let's first make the bullet. Don't forget to save. And to make the bullet, it's very simple. Just create other and then take a sphere. It doesn't matter where it is, but to get the scaling right, you can place it where the gun is, so you can measure how big the sphere will be. Scale it to the right proportions, I think this will be fine for now. And call this one bullet. You can remove the sphere collider for now. Okay, so if you play this now, you notice that the bullet will stay where it is. So we have to make it move forward. And to do this, we attach to the bullet a new script and call it something like move bullet. Open it up. And you can do this at two ways. Maybe more, but you can add a force. So the physics engine will calculate all the things, or you can write your own script. And for now, we just write our own script because that's some simpler. First, we make a new variable, a public float, and call this one speed. And the default, set it to say 1. And don't forget the f after the variable, after the number, to define this is a float. You can also write 0.1.0, then it's also fine, but I think this is cleaner. Then you could say the transform of this object dot translate, and translate is a sort of function, and here you can define which direction the bullet will move, and the direction also defines the speed. So we want to move 0 in the x, 0 in the y, and with the speed in the z-axis. And save this. As you can see, the speed variable is now here. So if you play this one, you will see it moving. So this will be fine for now. And to make this a prefab, the only thing you have to do is drag your object into the project file. And Unity automatically makes a prefab. And you can drag this. Oh, I forgot to delete this once. And then to make things clean, you can drag the bullet into the prefabs folder. And now you can delete the one of your scene. So let's go back to the bullet spawn. Or how do I call it? Bullet spawn, yeah. And here you can drag in the bullet prefab. So let's get back to our shooting script. And now we want to instantiate the bullet we just made. So to do that, we say instantiate. And then we have to give a few variables. The first one is what we want to instantiate. So in this case, it will be the bullet. Then the position. Here you can see what it's asking for. So the position, and that will be just the position where the bullet spawn is, because we just placed it right. So we say transform.position, and then rotation. So we do just transform.rotation. So now whenever we hold down the left mouse button, we instantiate the bullet, and the bullet moves because we assigned this script to the bullet. No errors, so that's good. And as you can see, the gun is now shooting. But there are a few problems. It's shooting way too fast, so that will be fixing first. And we don't get any sounds. So let's get back to a script and the shoot script. And we want to make a timer. So whenever the timer is greater than the delay we assigned, then it can only shoot. So we make a new variable. First a public one, and make this one an integer, and call this one delay time, and say we'll be using 8 seconds. And then a private variable, because we won't want to see it. Also an integer, and call this one counter. Am I doing this right? You know, let's make it float. That's better, I think. And this one also. Yeah, that's better. Or is it? Yeah, I think this is better. Okay, so and the counter is 0 at the start. So in every update, we want to set the counter to be 1 more. Actually, we use the time.delta time, and that's a time elapsed between the previous frame. So this makes sure that the bullet always travels, of the counter is always counting at the same speed. And to be very sure, instead of update, we make it a fixed update. Okay. And then in this if, we make it and n. Counter is greater than the delay time. Okay, so the counter always adds the time, and you can only shoot when you hold the mouse button and the counter is more than the delay time. So when you just shot, we want to say that the counter is 0 again. So it resets the counter, and it can you have to wait till the counter reaches the delay time. So let's test this out, and we got an error. Plus equals. So the counter is the counter plus time.delta time. That's what the plus equals is. So it's the shorter variant. And now it's gone. Let's test it out. And we can shoot. Oh, it's very slow. Let's do 1 multiplied by the time delta time. Then it goes a bit faster, I think. No, that shouldn't be it. Let's just set the delay time to a smaller number, say 0.5. And now you can see it shoots way slower. So you can change this to whatever you want. Now it's going a bit faster. But we still have no sound. So to do that, to the bullet spawn, add a new component. And it will be audio source. In the project file you can find sounds and then gunshot. So drag this sound into the new audio source and uncheck play on awake. So if the game starts we won't want to play it automatically, only when we shoot. Here where we instantiate the bullet, we say audio dot play with 2 brackets. So the audio source will play whatever is in it, and in this case it's a gunshot we just assigned. So if we play it, we should be able to hear the sounds. And it's shooting. But we still have no bullet holes on the cube. And to do this we actually need a raycast, and that's better for all purpose of the game because it's more reliable. So to make the raycast, we first delete the actually we can keep that one. We just add another part of the script. So let's start here. First we want to make a new raycast hit, so we can store the object the raycast hits. So we say raycast hit, and for this purpose we just call it hit. Then we make a new ray, so ray, and call this one ray, equals a new ray. And here we want to assign the direction of the ray. So in this case just the transform dot position and then transform dot forward. Oh. So this is the origin of the ray, so where it starts, and this is the direction, so just the forward direction of the object. And then the raycast itself, we want to know if the raycast hit anything. So if physics dot raycast, and then we assign the ray. So we say the ray we just made, and then we want to store where the info of the object that it hits, where it will be returned. So that's the out, and we assign it to the hit we just made, the raycast hit. And then at last you can see here the distance, so how long the ray will be and how far you can shoot. You can assign whatever you want. I do mine 100, and don't forget the F at the end because it's a float, as you can see here. So if this ray hits anything, we want to instantiate a bullet hole on that raycast hit. So as before, we instantiate something, and here we instantiate the bullet hole, but we have to first make the bullet hole. So let's do that.
Add a plane
plane, and to this plane assign a material of the bullet hole. You can also find this in the project file, make your own or download your own, it doesn't really matter. So assign this to the plane, and you will notice that the background is black. To fix this, you select the plane, if I can select it, and here in the shader, instead of diffuse, you make it transparent diffuse, and now the background will be gone because it was an alpha channel as a PNG. It's way too big, so we make a empty game object and call this one bullet hole, and make the plane you just made a child of the bullet hole. And let's reset all the transform, the rotation and the scales to 0, the scales to 1. Oh. So, okay. And instead of scaling the parent, you can scale the child. So, I think this will be fine. And one important thing to do is move the child a bit upwards, like this. Maybe you can set it to 0.01, just a very small amount. And I'll explain this in a minute why. To make this prefab, we just drag it into the project file and into the prefabs folder. So we now have a bullet prefab and a bullet hole prefab. And as before, you can delete this from the scene. And go back to the bullet spawn. And go back to the script. We have an error here, I don't know why. Oh, yeah. Okay, make a new public game object and call it bullet hole. Save it, and it should be gone. No. Okay, let's do that later. So instantiate the bullet hole, and then comes the tricky part. You want to say that here you want to know where it should spawn, and the place will be getting out of the hit. So we say hit, and this is just the raycast hit. So it's not an object or a place, it's a raycast hit. So we have to know where it is, and you can say hit dot point, and this returns where exactly the place is where it hits. And then we want to make sure the rotation is right, and for that we can say quaternion dot from to rotation vector 3 dot up, and then hit dot normal. This part calculates the face of the object. So if you go to the cube, if you shoot on this side, the plane should be rotated other than on this side. So the function we just made calculates where the normal of this cube will be. So we can save it for now, and then assign the bullet hole, the prefab, in here. So let's test it out. So if you shoot in the air, nothing happens because we hit nothing. And when we hit the cube, you can see it instantiates the bullets on the place and the rotation where we hit the cube. And I'll explain why we just set the child to a very small amount upwards. If you instantiate the bullet hole exactly on the plane of the cube, it would interact with the face of the cube itself, so you can see the bullet hole very clear. So what we just did is, I don't know if you can see it, not really on the video I think. I'll explain it in this way. If we set this to a higher variable, say 0.5, you can see it better. Not really. Okay, but the bullet will be a little offset of the plane, so it will be always on top of the face of the plane, so you can always see it. So what we did is instantiate the bullet, play the sound, made a raycast, and instantiate bullet holes. I hope this tutorial was helpful for you. If you have any more questions, please comment below, and I will be replying as fast as possible. Thanks for watching, and see you in another tutorial. Thanks for watching.